You're watching the Experience Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Glad to see everybody's here. We just got back from Charlotte doing Heroes Con, and we had a fantastic time out there. And we have two artists that are going to hear tonight, and they'll be able to share their experience as well. But our special guest is Rubin Najera, and he's got some very interesting guy that we got a chance to talk to at a Comic-Con Revolution. And you're going to hear more about him and the projects that he's working on. So sit tight, grab something to eat and drink. We'll be right back after this short intro brief. Hey. How's everybody doing there? Mog.
Yes.
What is that on your board that you're showing?
Okay, today I want to do something different. I'm actually getting ready for the Denver
right
convention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the Fan Expo Denver.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who like fantasy. And so
Okay.
this is Final Fantasy from Final Fantasy 14, and it's actually an interior of a workshop of one of the they call it the company workshop.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do the interior, and then I'm gonna do a mashup of some other creatures inside here.
Is this what you're putting up for auction tonight?
Yeah, so it's gonna be kind of high in case it does go, because I actually want to sell it at a higher price at the con.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
High.
all right. So what is this thing overall called? Do you have a title for this?
It would be called.
What is it?
I think she froze again.
Oh, she froze. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for her to unfreeze, if you haven't yet, please hit that follow button to help us increase our followers here. That way we can continue to bring you wonderful content like Nick's original art show that appears every Friday night at 7 p.m. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right? And if you haven't seen it yet, to get in on the free giveaways tonight, put in # EXP Live, and that will get you into the drawing there. And Fong has put up some nice pieces that we'll have tonight, and I'll show those later on today. And so, Mog, you were telling us what's the name of this piece?
Oh, let's just call it simple, like Final Fantasy. It's too much of a mouthful.
Okay, is it from which Final Fantasy is it from though? 6,
Final
7,
Fantasy,
8, 9.
It's Final Fantasy 14,
Uh-huh.
and within 14 is called the Heaven's Ward. So
Right,
there's
so
many
we'll just-
dimensions, and it's Heaven's Ward. But just say Final Fantasy. It's
Okay.
very
Final.
simple. It's that way.
I'm just trying to figure out a name on it. Okay, then what's the starting bid going to be on that?
150. There's a lot of work that I'm going to be putting in. It's architecture.
That seems kind of cheap, but okay. 150.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
so
hoping
if anybody
it will
wants to,
deter.
you're definitely not going to finish that today.
No, because I want to make it pretty tight and to get ready for Denver's. That's why I'm starting it high, the bid.
Yeah, that's.
I
I think it's low, but that's your call.
I know.
Right.
Usually, I would sell this for about 300 minimum, but
Right, so you heard that. So anybody wants to
give me a
get in on
chance.
that action live, we'll see where that goes. You can put in a bid in the comments. Just put in Final Fantasy, and we're looking for a bid of 150 or better on that to open it up. All right, so our guest tonight is Rubin Najera, and we can bring him on. How you doing, Rubin?
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for having me on.
All right, yeah. Okay, and we're gonna talk to Rubin very shortly here, but before we do that, let's bring out our other artists here. We also have Connie Huang, who's with us here today. Hey, Connie, so what are you working on today for the auction block?
So I have bought a Green Lantern Season 2 Blade cover variant, and I already did some sketches already up close, but I'm going to start inking it. It's just basically Hal Jordan feeding eye on the entity, like if it's its own fish.
Okay. But this is pretty much Green Lantern, Hal Jordan?
Yeah,
Okay.
Hal Jordan with the entity eye on.
All right. And what is your starting bid on that?
Probably like 50.
How much?
50?
50. Okay, here we
I
go.
thought she said 550. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, so, huh? Okay, and then we have also with us tonight a show favorite. We have Fang Fang, who's looking fresh also from Heroes Con.
Yes.
And what will you be drawing, Fang?
Everybody's drawing the cover. I'm doing cover too.
Well, no.
Wonder
Okay.
Woman?
So you're going to do Wonder Woman?
Mm.
Okay. And what is the starting bid on that?
Same like Mog, 150.
150 for that. Okay, there you go. So there we have all the bids in, or at least the starting bid. So if you want to bid on any of that, put it out into the comments. And thank you. I see Stevie B has already put in #EXP Live, so that qualifies him for the free drawings tonight. All right, Rubin, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a writer. So I'd love to be able to draw as amazing as all of you. But you know, I'm kind of limited to my stick figure drawings or my scratch, scratch.
Same here.
But I mean, I've always been writing. I mean, even though like I just broke into like the industry within the last like 3 years, I've been writing like the majority of my life. Even previous to the comic books that I was writing, I was already doing some stuff in like action sports, like writing for, like I had like article with like EXPN, which was like ESPN's is like action sports stuff.
Yeah.
Power Edge magazine. Like I've written a lot of action sports stuff and articles in the past. And then before that, even as a kid, I was like writing my own comic book stories and stuff like that. Granted, I know how to like properly write them now, but even back then I was still giving it a shot. Yeah, I mean, I just the medium of comic books to me is absolutely amazing because you can make that multi-million-dollar movie. You have no restrictions, right? And you can write it out. You can put it in a comic book. It could be drawn. You could take them to space. You could take them to another world. It's limitless, and this medium in itself is amazing. And it's no wonder that even like, Hollywood or film and television, all that adapts so many comic book related content, they turn into movies and television shows, to the point where some people might not even be aware they're watching something that was that came from a comic book,
Right. There are a lot of shows. Even I get surprised when I hear at the end for the credits, goes, oh, you see that, oh, this was actually a comic.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to keep up with everything that's coming out, especially now that you have like Kickstarter and all that. It's hard to see sometimes what was in a comic book format before, right? And it's not just Western comics, but we also have like manga. Asian comics, right? So like manga and all that, like Fang Fang, Fang Fang. A lot of the comics that you worked on when you were in China, right, were those already developed into like a television series, or were they? Is that what they were aiming for?
They aiming for, of course, for like anime. They want to do anime, but they're trying to do comic first and see if the market's good.
Yeah.
Start working on it's already the story already written by some writer. The writer is famous, and we just like making the products for the IP. Yeah. Right. And they are armed for like a animation TV show or something like that. So,
then that's a format that Asia has had for a while, and we on the Western side have we're following that format now, because comics has been around for a long time, but it wasn't looked at as something that was viable that you could put onto the screen, but now it is. and because it has, there's a lot more people looking at the stories coming into comics and see if that can be developed into a movie or a TV series. In fact, sometimes now, especially in the 90s, I saw that like many of the image titles that were coming out were actually trying to become an IP property that they could develop into a movie or a series. So they were trying to write it in that fashion. But before we get into a little bit of that, Rubin, you are also into a type of sport, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been skateboarding since I was, well, I mean, if I take it back to when I first rode a skateboard, I had this little bootleg board that my grandmother gave me. It was a bootleg Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle board, and I was like, I don't know, like 5 or something, and like I was improperly using it, just like laying on it, like street luging down the driveway. You know what I mean? Like not using it the correct way. But eventually, then when I was like junior high, around that age range, I like really started to like skate. And to that day till now, I mean, I'm in like 25 plus years of, I mean, I already lost track how many years it is, but way more than that, honestly, skateboarding. And yeah, I was a professional skateboarder. That was one of like my dreams when I was a kid. And I pretty much like, I was the kid that like in high school when everyone was like taking off to go to like parties and stuff like that, I was the one that they couldn't really get to go anywhere or didn't have as many friends because I was always just skateboarding. That's what I preferred to do. And so I was always like practicing and because I knew I wanted to like get better and get sponsored and, you know what I mean, enter contests and stuff like that. And I did do that, and I did succeed at that. You know, it started to become a reality, you know, like filming when I was younger and getting skateboard tricks and then sending those demos out, and then, you know, going out to skateboard contests and like being like so much more like serious about it than some of the other people that would be there, that like I would come from farther, obviously, because the town where I come from is so small, and like no one had ever made it out from here before in the action sports world. And I would go over there with like, you know, the eye of the tiger, you know what I mean? Like a flame, you know what I mean? And I was just like, I wasn't leaving there without giving it my all. And yeah, I started to like win contests and stuff, and brands started to like send me stuff. Cause basically like when you're at those skate contests, like they send you gear because they want you to become their billboard, essentially.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want the winners wearing their stuff. So then next thing I know, you know, I'm getting free skateboards, I'm getting free wheels and free trucks and free all that stuff. And then when you start to do that, you build a relationship with these brands. The next thing you know, like they're paying you, and you know, you become an amateur. You're entering amateur skate contests, and then they take you up a notch, and now you're a professional. And now you're doing professional skate contests, and you're getting paid to skate, and you're getting endorsements and signature products and stuff like that. So yeah, it's my passion. You know, it turned into a reality, but like I don't believe in luck. Like I said, I relentlessly, I don't know how to use that word even. It's a powerful word in itself, but I like relentlessly skated. I put, if they say it's like 10,000 hours to be professional or whatever,
right?
Yeah, the term I without question put way more than that, like above and beyond. So like, it's not. I like to say I'm not talented at it. I don't see it that way. I just did it so dedicated and for so long that you inevitably will get good. You know. Yeah. That's really like my path, because it's not easy for me, but I made it. You know.
It's a battle for everyone that has a goal to try and achieve something, right? And you got to, as like you said, 10,000 hours, and it's a matter of putting in the time, right? And then keep doing it, practicing your craft, improving on it, and the only way you're going to be able to do that is you got to have the passion and the love for it, because you got to be consistent and persistent to stay on top of that, to keep doing that as long as you do, or else you're gonna quit and give up, and you're not gonna get to where you want. So that drive has got to come from somewhere. And I've said that to many people, man. If you got the passion and the drive, you will succeed. It may take time,
Yeah.
but as long as you have that and you're consistent in your practicing and stuff, you'll get there.
And honestly, Mel, just kind of like you're saying right now, I did the same thing with writing, exact same thing, because like I didn't just like write a couple scripts, get picked up, and then get published by Archie. Like I had like gotten rejections like from Archie for years. Like I broke in within the last like 3 years, but that doesn't mean I've only been writing for 3 years. I've been trying. You know what I mean? Even if I was doing it wrong.
Oh yeah.
It's the equivalent of like falling on the skateboard and getting back up. It's like, do you want to land the trick or not? If you do, like get your butt back off the ground and you do it again. So it's the same thing with writing, and trial and error and learning and figuring it out and just getting better at the craft to the point where you have it down,
Yeah. I remember when my son was growing up, and I forget how old he was, like maybe 3 or 4, and he was playing the Indiana Jones game on the laptop, right? And it's got moves on there that for a little guy it's pretty hard to do, right? And once in a while I would go in there and I would like do the move for him just so he could get by. But I told him, you've got to do this yourself. I'm not going to help you, right? Daddy, it's hard. Daddy, it's hard. You have to keep trying. Eventually you'll get it. Yeah. And he's learned from that, because he learned it at an early age. You just got to keep trying. Yeah. And you will get better. He's in college now, doing good, so I'm really happy about that. But
awesome.
It's something that I believe in as well. And I think once you achieve your goals, especially like you're a professional skateboarder, you know what it took to get there. Right now, you turn to writing, and it's not going to be easy, but that there's the path is you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, and you've already learned to like pick yourself up and just continue, and you're going to get those small achievements, but eventually those will like build up.
Yep.
And I've been telling everybody, said, wow, I only talked to Rubin for a short while at Comic-Con Revolution, but it's impressive with what he's accomplished, because a lot of people can't even succeed at 2 things like you have, and I know that you've got more coming. So tell us, how for writing, right? Were you professionally trained for that, or how did you come across that?
I mean, I was always just doing it myself, right? It wasn't until the last it wasn't until like when COVID hit that I just took the next step, and I was like, you know what, I want to get better at this. I want professional critiques, like one-on-one pretty much. And so I started taking classes at the Kubert School. And so I was one of the online, some people aren't aware of this, which I highly recommend, but like you can basically live anywhere in the world and sign up to enter the school. You pay the classes fees or the tuition or what may not be, like whichever you decide to do. I only took the writing sessions, and my teacher was Amy Chu, who
oh wow, okay,
she did Red Sonja, Poison Ivy for DC.
Yep, she's very active out there.
Yeah, at the time she was doing something for Turning Red. It's like a Disney Pixar thing,
right?
Yeah, I mean, that was my writing teacher. I learned a lot from her. And during the classes, what's really cool about the Kubert School is like they'll bring in working colorists, working writers, working artists, that do covers or interiors, and like there'll be like guest speakers during class sessions.
Right. And what's cool about that is that these guys are not teaching you theory, but they're teaching you practical application that they personally use themselves. So it's not something that you have to like try out. I mean, they're giving you their tried and true methods already, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel to go through that.
I just didn't. I could have just kept, I could have just kept failing and not figuring it out or doing it. But that class really taught me to condense scripts. You know what I mean? To bring it into pitches, to turn things into paragraphs. Like, you know what I mean? So when you're speaking to an editor pitching, like, you can pitch them and intrigue them. You know what I mean? And I was not really doing that. I was overworking before. I would just write like 22-page things and like and go all overboard and stuff, you know. And it was too much. It was too much because like as a writer, it's extremely difficult because I cannot show them 3 pieces of artwork and then be like, oh, you're really talented, you're hired. I have to hand them like a script, and then it's intimidating. They're like, you know, in their head, I know they're thinking like, I'm not going to read this. This is too much. You know what I mean? Like I don't even have time. Like you get them or you lose them. You know what I mean? So like you got to hook them or not. And so it's much harder to break in that sense. And yeah, like the classes, the thing I learned from them was just how to condense things and have an understanding of what to look for. I could have just kept doing what I was doing and failing, but I always try to find a way to learn, to figure out, you know. And even when I had my last project that I turned in the class before the year was over, it was really cool because you can ask, like I purposely asked, like, hey, just butcher my script, like just note that whole thing. You know what I mean? Like I want to know like what I'm doing wrong. I'm curious. Like I see it as like a learning experience as well, you know, because it is a learning experience, but even more like go above and beyond. Like I don't mind being critiqued.
Right. Give it to me. Give me everything. I want to know everything, you know.
Exactly. And that's what I got. And then I also took a little bit later, I took another class, not related to Kubert School, but I was learning under Shelley Bond, who was an editor for, she was an editor for Neil Gaiman. You know what I mean? I took some classes. She had these filth and grammar courses, which I believe you could still take them. And that was a really cool experience. And she was very knowledgeable on everything that she was teaching in the class as well. So, and you know, these things are out there. Some people are like, they might not go that further step, but I was just so serious about this, you know, that I was like, I want to learn from the best, you know what I mean? So if I got people that were editors in the industry, if I've got someone who's writing in the industry, and I paid for like the class, you know what I mean? I can ask certain questions, you know what I mean? Because like now I'm in there, I'm officially in there, I'm one of the students, and then just take little tidbits. I don't use everything that like they taught. I still do things my way on certain things, but there are certain processes and things like, is it like condensing scripts and learning what editors look for and keywords and all these different things that have helped me along the way that I still use to this day and will forever to use, that I learned from those peers, you know what I mean? And those individuals that was really cool. I already actually knew who both of them were before taking the classes. So I thought it was
good.
really, because I'm a big comic book geek myself, you know?
Okay. And so now you decide to write your own comic books. What was the very first one that you did?
I did this funny, I did this like this comic called Illegal Aliens. And it was about an alien. And this was an exclusive for YumaCon, which is a convention in Arizona.
Okay.
And,
I just want to take note of something here. Okay. Again, right? Aliens have popped up into our discussion. It's like a common theme that pops up all the time. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it was this book that I wrote. It's called Illegal Aliens with a Z at the end. And basically like an alien crash lands off the border in Mexico, and a quote unquote illegal alien, because that's what they call, you know, the ones that cross through Mexico, makes it across illegally through like the New River, like through the border fence, the polluted river that's there. And when he makes it across into Mexico, he thinks he's hallucinating because he's in the middle of the desert and he ran out of water and everything. But he thinks he's hallucinating because he sees an alien spaceship that crash lands and is like on fire. And he basically like takes action and pulls the alien out and saves them before it explodes. And they become best buds. But the ironic thing is like they're illegal aliens, both of them, you know?
In their own respective ways.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yeah. And so they're kind of like this, like it's like a not buddy cop, how do I say it? They're not like, you know, like a Beavis and Butthead, Ren and Stimpy. They're like a duo. You know what I mean?
So they're not like an odd couple.
Yeah, they're not like an odd couple. Yeah, and it's pretty funny. Like that famous painting with my cover artist was Dave Garcia, right? Also, to put in context, like I grew up. I'm Mexican American. I grew up. The first language I learned was Spanish, and like the majority of my family is from Mexicali, like Mexico. All my aunts, uncles, grandparents, and stuff. So like I was always crossing the border back and forth. So this was like a story that like I had thought up like when I was like 9 or something. You know, like legitimately just crossing the border, like with my imagination going off. You know,
right.
So, but then later on, I write it, you know, and turn it into something. And this was like in my maybe this was like I lose track of when it was. I don't know if it was like 20. I don't know. It was many years ago now that I self-published it. We only made like 100 copies or something. I might even be getting that wrong, but it's something small like that, right? And we actually did end up selling it out. We did sell out of it when we were doing the convention, but
selling out at 100 copies at this day and age is actually really good.
yeah, the book did pretty good actually. Yeah, because people thought it was funny. They thought it was like hilarious, you know, like, and it was just like a fun, like warm-hearted thing, you know, because like. Even the cover was cool because that famous painting with like the farmer and his wife and they're standing in front of the house with the pitchfork. Yeah, it was my character Arnulfo with the alien and he's holding a leaf blower. You know what I mean? Because later on they take jobs doing yard work and stuff. You know, they're illegal, right? So like that was like the whole thing with it. So we had like fun with it, and the whole thing is like, you know, he's trying to adapt. They're both trying to adapt in the world because they're new to the United States, you know what I mean? To America technically. So that was kind of the whole thing with it. That was the first comic I wrote, but I had like tons of stories that like I wanted to make, and that one was just like take it into action, you know. And I was so much starting out at the point that even like it was pretty cool. Like the interiors to that book were done by my neighbor Tim. Just my neighbor. I was just like, hey, can you draw? Like you do the interiors of the book, you know. My neighbor did the interiors, and he did awesome, you know. And then the cover was done by Dave Garcia, who was actually like legit, like he was like a professional. Yeah. He actually worked on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie books back then. He was like the only guy that's like made it into the comic book industry from like my county. Yeah, and he did the cover. And
did he make it?
Yeah, and he made it really cool cover, and then the colors on that were done by Sheila Valencia. She that was her first work as well, and she did the colors for that because Dave's actually colorblind, so he actually does not do colors.
Did you keep a copy for yourself?
I did, yeah. I kept one. I'll never get rid of that. Yeah, so I just keep one.
Nice.
And then that's Galagueta. That's my new book right there.
And we're going to talk about that very shortly. But let's go around the room and let's take a look at what everybody has so far on the board. Now let's start with Feng. She's holding it up. She's working on a Wonder Woman, looking for an opening bid of 150. You can kind of see the line work, and looks like a very, very interesting piece there. Can't wait to see that done. So if you want to place a bid on that, it's 150 is the starting bid on that. Now let's go to Connie, who's also working on a Green Lantern sketch cover. Okay, and she's got that working up. Okay.
I think that's the first time I ever saw you, Connie, doing a sketch cover.
No, I did the sketch cover last month.
Yeah, and well, she's only been on here. Is this your second time?
Yes.
Yes, it's only her second time, Mog. So yeah, you haven't seen her do much. It looks like she's starting to do more, and we'll have the advantage of seeing that. And let's take a look at yours, Miss Mog. Yeah, looks like a fishbowl on the desk.
It's a workshop, so this is like imagine like a sci-fi fantasy. So it's more like a steampunk.
Nice.
So it's very advanced. These guys don't really do much magic. So there's a lot of pipes and stuff. And this is the visual 3D model that they're floating in this bowl. So this is going to be like a airship type of design that they're going to start building on. But what I actually ended up creating was I added these monsters that come out in the game. And I'll talk about it later, like after.
They're very cat-like.
They're adorable.
I'm not surprised. All right. So, and on that note, We will be right back after this brief commercial break.
Ask your local comic shop to add Battle Quest comics to your pull list today.
By this time in our journey, we had been on the trail of a very elusive creature for about 96 hours. But all the hard work is about to pay off. Oh, crikey, there she is. Oh, by the markings, I'd say this one's at least a 9.8. Oh, she's a real beauty. A true mint copy. Oh, this one will make a fine slab on anyone's display wall. Oh, she's a feisty one, though. Look out, look out!
Mint Hunter Comics is the place to find that mint comic you've been searching for. Mint Hunter Comics, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, part of the experience.
Welcome back, everyone. You are watching Sketch Up with Mog and Mel. We have our special guest, Rubin Najera, here. And don't forget to hit that follow button. Help us increase our fellowship. And if you haven't figured it out yet, put in #EXP Live to get on the free drawings that we will have here later on. Okay. Steve Vendetta has a question for you, Rubin. He's asking, are you aware that IDW's newest Godzilla series involves skateboarding?
Yeah, the Godzilla series.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
That's
I wasn't aware of that either. So that's kind of interesting. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
we have a skateboarding Godzilla, you know.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say because there was another book that came out. It's called I think it's called Grommets, and it's like another
Oh, yeah.
skate book.
Yeah.
But the Godzilla one sounds really interesting because I actually like Godzilla. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm gonna look
And
into
I think,
that.
yeah, I think a lot of us are Godzilla fans out here.
Yeah.
Okay, there was like another comment I saw here. Okay, well, yeah, Stevie B had much earlier. He said, I hardly recognize Fung Fung tonight. Her video image is crystal clear. If she was in Finland, she surely must have upgraded from Comcast. Someone's taking notice.
Wow. It's a
And,
you can finally see Fong Fong clearly.
Yeah. And Steve Vendetta has another one for you here, Rubin. Yeah,
Yeah.
It goes, were you a fan of Where's Waldo in your youth? Your choice of attire tonight could make you pass for Waldo's complimentary colored antithesis.
They'll be the villain. You know what? I actually think there already is a Where's Waldo villain. Dang it! Yeah, but that'd
He
be
just has a goatee. That's what it is.
okay. All right. All right.
Oh.
I should cosplay that one year though. That'd be. I should just cosplay.
Yeah,
like
it's just a regular Waldo with a goatee. That's what it is.
Okay.
I loved the books when I was a kid. Actually, I mean that's I used to check them out at the library all the time. Those ones and like Goosebumps, Where's Waldo? Those are
Yeah.
like all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Magic School Bus. Shoot, these eyewitness books that were like these educational National Geographic kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, that Where's Waldo though? I love it though. Heck yeah.
And
Did you ever finish it? Did you ever find everything? I could never find everything. Yeah.
I feel like on some I did like, and I always liked a lot of those I Spy books too. Those were really cool.
Oh yeah, the I Spy.
Yeah, or even like the drawn ones. Like you remember highlights? They used to be like they would always have them like at doctors' offices and stuff like that. They were called highlights, and those always had like a look for the shoe or look for whatever it was. You know, like different things in the imagery. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have those when I was growing up.
I think last time I talked with you, Ruben, you're also producing music.
Yeah. Yeah, I just actually today I just finished submitting 2 tracks, which this is pretty cool actually. I think I could talk about it in a little bit. It's not out yet, but so like I'm making music. I've been making music for the last year and a half. My engineer producer, he's a Grammy-winning engineer. His name's Matt Brownlee, and yeah, he's the one that I'm working with on it. And right now we're getting some cello added by Laurie Goldston, who was in Nirvana. And she, yeah, if you watch like Nirvana Unplugged, the cello player and like actually she's a cello player for the band. She did everything. She's on a bunch of songs. Like she's basically a part of the band and without question, part of the band. And she's super cool. And like she's doing the cello stuff for my music, and eventually it'd be cool when we start to tour and stuff like that, like a year down the line, like she'll probably do some shows with us and all that, and that'd be awesome. But yeah, I music is and to be honest, music is the thing I've actually been doing the longest.
Oh wow, okay.
It actually supersedes everything. I just didn't do anything with it because music wasn't something that like music for me was always like therapy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't like working myself all hard to like be the best and stuff. It was more like my little escape. You know what I mean? Even like as a kid, I'll just be playing. Like I had this little Casio piano when I was like, 4 years old or something, 3 years old, whatever I was. Like it was gift. And I would just be fiddling with that thing to the point where like, you ever see those things where like babies have their blankets or their special toy or their bottle and they don't want to let it go and they carry it with them everywhere?
Yeah.
That was me with
that was you.
Yeah. And I just had this piano and I'd just be like, it's funny because like I remember there's a preset on the little pianos. I don't know. I think we still do it maybe. So it's like this preset where like you could fiddle on and make your music, but there'd always be these 2 buttons on this little Casio thing. And like you'd hit it and it would automatically play a song.
Yeah.
Like, done. It was like a preset. And I remember as a little kid, like hitting that preset and it was like, bing, 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 whatever it would do. And like, I was just trying to like mimic the keys.
Yeah.
So,
Trying
like,
to copy it.
Anyone's looking like, look how good I am, you know what I mean? Like it's me playing, but it wasn't, Yeah. So like, I remember like just going back with music for like so young. And,
if I'm hearing you correctly, is your go-to instrument now a guitar?
It is, yeah, and I the first time I picked up a guitar, I used to when I was just really young, I would stay at my cousin's house, and my uncle had a guitar in his room, and to this day I don't think I ever asked permission, but I could tell like if he knew I was obviously taking it and fiddling with it and never told me anything. Which like bless him for that. That was super cool. That he probably like, peeked in on me playing. Was like, huh, he's interested in the guitar, But like I would like grab his guitar and just kind of like fiddle with it, and just like the piano. Like I never took like true courses. To this day, I don't fully know notes all the way. It's just I've been doing it for so long that like if I hear something, I can replicate the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know where it's going to come from.
Exactly. Like I know right where my hand goes, like how to get that chord. both on the piano and the guitar, and yeah, I just always like made music, and but I just never did anything with it because it was always like something like just an essential part of my life where like I just felt like sitting down and getting that's honestly like I write, but the music's kind of like my true art. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
like it's art.
Yeah,
Like
but
doing
kind
it,
of
like
just
care less.
flows.
Yeah, I could care less if like anyone else like 100% likes it or thinks
Yeah,
it's amazing or
right.
whatever. Like I'm not gonna quit if it's not like a rock hit or something.
Right.
Like it didn't matter to me. I just loved
Mhm.
making music. But now the thing that's changed is that like like I'm in my late 30s and like I'm just like I want to. I'm just like what I will always regret if I don't capture everything because I'm getting older, and so I
Mhm.
want to like make an album, and that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm making the album like so that
Yeah.
later on I just be like I did it, made it, and I mean it's coming out amazing, and the people that I'm working with on it, it's pretty crazy. So that's becoming a reality, and like I just look forward to getting it done, and eventually when it's done, one of the people that I work with, um, uh, she's like the manager for like my engineer producer, but she's got plugs in the industry. Like she's run like different well-known studios in the Hollywood area,
Mhm.
uh, and yeah, like she has connections to like getting your music in front of the right individuals that could get it on like commercials and
Right.
movies, television shows and stuff like that. Um, and that's something I would really like to do too. And eventually I'll want to play festivals and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
uh, yeah,
How
so that's
much of the music has an impact on your writing? Is there a lot? Can those two go together for you, or do you see them as totally separate?
not my not my own music, but every time I'm writing, there's always something playing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I know when I was writing the script for Archie Comics, I wrote this like spy espionage story with Betty and Veronica, and it was called Operatives. And on that script, as I was writing that whole thing, the whole time I had this soundtrack on repeat from the Bourne, that Bourne series, like the Jason Bourne
Yeah.
series.
Yeah.
I had the theme song on repeat. You know what I mean? And that's what I was listening to the whole time. So like I was like in this mood space where like how there's like method acting, but I was like method writing, and so like and I was like the music was going on so much that I swear like there could have been like a knock on the door and like I would have like you know what I mean grabbed like
Wow.
yeah you get like really into it, you know what I mean? So like
Hmm.
I had to think in terms of like what if this and what if this and what if this was around the corner and what if like like really turning it into a reality so it kind of shows through the writing.
Oh.
And then obviously when the editor gets it, they tone it down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the original script I wrote was like a little gnarlier than what we ended up publishing, but yeah, it's yeah, the music's a big part. Like it's even in skating, like it's a motivator for a lot of things.
Is there
Well,
aspects of because when you're creating that music, is there aspects about it that you carry into your writing at all, or?
I think yeah, I think the mood a lot. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But then my own music's a lot different. Like my own music will be like more, you know, shoot. I mean, there's a lot of like struggles and trials and tribulations and just things that I've gone through in my life that kind of inspire some of the music that I write for my own stuff.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like singer songwriter stuff, so it's kind of like in the range of like between grunge music and indie guitar.
Mhm.
uh, I don't really know what to compare it to, honestly. I mean, it's kind of
Okay.
like Elliott Smith, Jose Gonzalez, like some of those singer songwriter people that it's just them and the guitar. But then now that we're starting to add like instruments and stuff, it's kind of like I said, like our cellist is from Nirvana. You know what I mean? So you get
Uh,
that element in there.
yeah.
Think of like if you watch like Nirvana Unplugged, where it's like the
Mhm.
guitars and like everything like unplugged like that, like acoustically. That's kind of what the sound of the music is.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, One of the Kickstarters that kind of ended for you recently, which was, I thought, very intriguing.
Yeah.
And I believe it was called I'll See You Tomorrow.
Yeah. See You Tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So See You Tomorrow was a book that I wanted to do for quite some time. That was actually the script was actually the final project from the Kubert School when I was in the classes.
Okay.
That was like my final
Piece that you had to do to turn
yeah.
in. Yeah. Okay.
That was like my final project. Like turn it in as if it was going to get published with the publisher. Like if Image Comics was going to pick it up or something. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, and the cover to that book is done by Zu Orzu, who she's actually done stuff for Marvel. She's basically like she's like David Mack. What I would compare
I can see that's watercolors. Nice cover too.
Yeah, she's from the same agency as David Mack, and so Zu is did the cover for me on that book, and there's gonna be 2 different covers with like the tones kind of changed in the art. You know what I mean? So the colorful one will be the main cover, and then there'll be like a light blue one that'll be like the incentive cover. But that book is really special because it deals with suicide. There is actually a forest in Japan called the Suicide Forest,
right?
And people go there to end their lives. And without spoiling, the book, essentially, a young man goes there to end his life, and when he goes, he ends up falling in love with a woman that just took her life. So it's like they missed each other by like
oh wow,
by like mere hours, and so. He basically falls in love with this ghost because she appears in front of him because the noose where she hung herself happens to be right in front of his tent, and it's a very dark beginning, but it turned into a very bright, happy thing because, the love and then learning from each other, like basically inspires him to just be a better person and want to live and do positive things. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he goes around to the other tents that are there in the forest, and that's where the title comes. He'll say "See you tomorrow" to different people because it holds them accountable to seeing them tomorrow. And so people like kind of get out of that rut because sometimes it's just a state of mind. You know what I mean? It's a temporary thing, and you just need somebody sometimes. And in real life, that happened with someone that was close to me, and they were going through a tough time, and I try to help them out, and I let them live at my store that I had because I also own a comic book store. And the building that I had at the time was larger. I let them like stay there when they were going through a hard time, and I used to tell them every day, like, because I knew what they were going through and what they wanted to do. They mentioned about ending their life numerous times, and I would tell them like, hey, I'd talk to them, be positive, like, see you tomorrow. I'd always end it with that, see you tomorrow, and like, they always felt like they're gonna let me down, like, like I told them I was gonna see him tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the next day I'd see him. We just keep doing that over and over again, like almost like when you have to stare at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm better than this. I'm better than this. You know what I mean? Or you're worth it. And I just kept doing that. And this person, now they've got a family and kids, and like they're doing super good. And I remember they told me, it's like, yo, if it wasn't for you telling me you see me tomorrow so much, you know what I mean? Like, we're not held accountable. Like, I wouldn't be here,
Yeah.
So, and that's a different story, but it still fits into the mold of like trying to help one another, because to be honest, like I've been through a really like deep depression myself. I've gone through a lot of things. I mean, in fact, just in the last 3-4 years, it's been like a rough road for me too, because I mean, I lost my like last grandparent, my grandmother. I lost my bestest childhood friend, the one I knew the longest. I went to elementary school, junior high, high school. Like he passed away. I lost my mentor, the only one that I had. You know what I mean? I lost all these people in the same time frame. It was like drop like flies. So I was in a super dark place myself, but I just kind of had to I mean, it's rough. You know what I mean? Like when you starts happening.
I think when it's life, right? And it's that saying goes that nobody said that it was going to be easy. We all have our hardships, our demons that we need to fight. I've had several dark periods in my life as well, as early as in my 20s, and just trying to figure out a way and how I was going to make it and get out of it and be better, and not just as a but better as a person, and trying to be financially get to a position where I'm financially safe as well.
Yeah.
And things happen. I was just talking to another friend of mine, and I didn't know this about him, but he had sold his comic book collection, and it was a prized collection. But he was so down and out, and he needed money, and he didn't tell anyone, right? And he's just kind of coming out with this now, and this was something that happened over like 10 years ago, and nobody knew.
Yeah.
And but he's doing much better now, and it's things that we have to go through, and
yeah,
I think it's a necessary part of life that we go through these steps that teaches us.
Looking really good, Mom.
It does teaches us the important lessons, I believe, that we need to know in this life.
Yeah.
That is looking good. Yeah.
It does look good. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Is it already ink, Mom?
No.
I'm waiting for the ink dryer. I do color. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it is inked. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. So we are still looking for a bid on everything here. Mog is looking for 150 on her Final Fantasy piece. Fong Fong is also looking for 150, and Connie is looking for $50 on her Green Lantern sketch cover there. Okay. So this book, See You Tomorrow, you put that on Kickstarter. Is that a book that people can still get? If somebody was interested, is that something that they can still pick up from you?
There's only a few copies, like very, very few. They're on my website. Okay. So what happened with this book was originally I had pitched it, and I actually did get offers for publishers, but they did not want to do the donation to the National Suicide Prevention Foundation, which was my purpose for it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it messes with like the funds, you know what I mean, for them,
right.
And the distribution, all that. Like, they just don't do those kinds of deals in the industry.
Okay.
And I was very adamant about that, so I stood my ground, and I was like, "Well, we're not doing it then. Like, I need to do this first. That was what I want to do with it. That was a promise." So I did a Kickstarter so that I can get it funded in a limited amount, and then I do the donation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it serves its purpose. You know what I mean? The positivity and the good is there. And then after a publisher can pick it up, I'll go with someone else. And then when they print it again, it won't be as fancy as the version that I have put out. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
That'll be like the mass market.
Right. Yeah. So that makes it special still.
Yes.
And yet you're getting the story out there so everybody can, get that. Right.
So forever, the first true printing will always be the one that we did in the Kickstarter and the few copies that are left on my site. The other copies, obviously, everyone who pledged got those ones, but there's still a few left of each version of the cover, and they're on my website. It's just my name, rubinnajera.com, and there's a shop section there, and yeah, those will forever be the first prints of the book, and then when the publisher takes over, obviously they'll mass produce it more, and those will be quote unquote second prints. But it's also important that they take on the process to do that, because the book has a very positive message. So even though they're not going to donate and it'll go out, it's still spreading a positive message in a book.
It is, yeah. So, and that's the thing that attracted me, because I didn't know, I have no clue like who you were, okay? But when I read that Kickstarter, I go, wow, this is a really interesting story. And that's when we had reached out to you and said, well, I got to get this guy, and I want to hear more about this story. And then when we met you and you're telling me more about yourself, that only made us more intrigued with who you are with these accomplishments that you have in your life already. So we're happy for that.
Yeah, and you know what else I didn't mention earlier, but even when that friend that I had was wanting to commit suicide at the time, I was not in a good place either, ironically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's this weird thing where, like, you have to be better too. You know what I mean? But you can't show your feelings, your colors like that because you got to be stronger because someone's in a worser position. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I was down in the dumps like that in a dark place, but like I wasn't thinking like he was. You know what I mean? He was like extreme, like he was ready to like go. You know, and so
Right.
like, like I had to step up. You know what I mean? I had to be like leader. So like, and I needed to like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's how it's different for everybody. Some
Yeah.
of us, we know that, okay, we got to get out of this rut. How am I going to pull myself up? And we're going to try to problem solve it
Yeah.
and get ourselves out of there. But some people don't, they don't have that mental game where they can figure out how to bring themselves up, pick themselves up like that. And that's where the rest of us need to step in to help them, like what you were trying to do. Right. So we're not all fortunate. And I was talking to Fung about this the other day. It's like here in America, they want you to go see a psychiatrist, which is fine. I have nothing against that. Okay. But in comparison, like in other countries, that's not the number one solution they tell you to do.
Yeah.
There are other ways. There's a stronger bond between the relationships there in other countries where you can go talk to your friend, because that's mainly, I think, what you really need to do is talk to somebody that will listen to you and hear you out and tell you, about yourself. Hey, you're better than this, like what you were saying. And hearing these words of encouragement that you as a person does have value, even though you may not see it. That's the whole reason why I'm here talking to you, trying to tell you that. If that wasn't true, then it'd be a waste of my time, and I wouldn't want to do this. So it's a matter of like trying to change that, the way how they see themselves, and let them know that, hey, you might be down in the dumps now, but that doesn't mean that you got to stay here. You can pull yourself up, and we can help you.
Yeah, and community could be a very important part of that. Because it's sometimes like when you're just, I mean, a lot of the darkness for me came from like trying to do just everything consistently, just alone all the time. And sometimes, like, honestly, like your worst enemy is yourself. And if you're in your own mind like that, you're the worst thing that could be there sometimes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what you're telling yourself. So you have to get out of it. And sometimes just talking to people, it opens you up. And now you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, even if you're not going to agree with someone, you're open to hearing them. And it's already kind of got the flow going, and you kind of get out.
Right. Yeah, I know for me, like when I get depressed, right, especially when I was younger, and I wasn't really quite sure how to deal with some of this stuff, I would call my friends up, because they constantly were telling me, hey, if something is bothering you, call me up. I was back then, I was also a very religious going person, so I had these friends that I could reach out to that felt that way and made themselves available when I needed them.
Yeah.
But Connie, how do you deal with depression?
Usually I got a few friends that I will talk to, and in the beginning I used to have that mentality, like I was being stubborn and I refused to like seek help, especially because like my family's not really helpful with dealing with negative situations, because they will understand through the troubles, and being friends, especially with my husband Dallas and High Studio, and a couple other friends, we all come together as a community, because we're all in the same boat of, especially in this rough time right now this year, that we have to accept, the reality of the situation, but at the same time, but like, hey, we're in the same boat, and we can help each other out. That's how I tackle on these my downtimes usually, is to talk it out.
It's and for me, it was hard to talk to my parents too. Whenever I tried to talk to them about certain things, and it was mainly growing pains, and but it was hard. My dad would just tell me, "Oh my God, you're too young to be dealing with that problem. Let it go." I said, "But it's a real problem. He didn't want to address it, so I had to go somewhere else to try and bend somebody's ear or just figure it out myself." For you, Fang, you're in a special situation because you're separated from your family and your friends, being from China, and you've come here on your own. It's not an easy thing for an individual to do. So when you get depressed, what do you do?
Nowadays we have internet, talk to friends is very
Okay.
easy. Yeah.
I always forget about that. There's the internet available now, which wasn't available when I was growing up like that.
Yeah,
So,
I
and that's a
think
good thing. So I'm glad to
another
hear
way
that.
is maybe listen some music, watch some movie. That helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Let's
I like music a lot. Like a very
Yeah.
sad sound can bring your emotion out. You just
Definitely.
cry a little bit, then get it there.
You know what's
Nice.
funny is, as ironic as it is, because in the end, the most effective thing is that you're accountable. Somebody actually is looking forward to either hearing you or care about
Yeah.
even just accept your presence, right?
Yeah.
But the irony is, the last person you ever want to rely on with that pain is your family member, because you don't want to worry them. So your parents, forget it. No, as much as you love them, forget it. That's the last person. Usually, instinctively, we all want to protect whatever, right? So you don't share any of that. It's freaking rare. So that's the irony. And so what helps is, like, I think what Rubin did for that guy. You weren't even his family member, right?
No.
Which is a complete Joe Schmo to him, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But this random stranger, and that actually means a lot too, because somebody outside family member that's actually just an outsider is able to look at you and say, "Hey, you're real. You are here."
Yeah.
That actually means more than a family saying, "Hey, you're here. Oh, you're here again." It just seems a bit more special. So that's why I think for that guy, the accountability really worked, because this Ruben guy is like, I don't know him, but he'll say, "Hey, he actually cares about me," and there's no filial responsibility. He's really doing it out of his own good heart. And I think that's why it impacts more if it's a stranger. I mean, somebody that's not your family member. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my theory.
No, I think that's possible, but I think I don't think that's like a majority, because I have seen people where they can like talk to their parents about it, and they're very good. It depends, I think, on like the generation, where they're from, and so forth. Lieutenant here writes, as a Navy vet and retired firefighter, there really isn't a group for talk to because they can't relate. I'm pretty much alone still. I just pick up a stock of books and try to pull myself up. And we hear that a lot. And it's interesting to hear that from you, because that's one of the issues that we're dealing with in this country, is that our military sector has a high suicide rate that they've been trying to turn around. Right? They have a hard time finding people that they can talk to, and that's one of the main issues, is that it's hard to understand what a person of that nature has gone through, and be able to like talk to them about that and relate. Because if you can't make that connection, it's kind of difficult to turn that person around. That understanding is needed, and there are groups that are open, but I hear too that they're not. Sometimes they're not available as openly as we'd like them to be, because somebody has to be there. Somebody's got to be willing to listen.
See, the common sense is this, Mel. Common sense, right? Logically, if you look at it, if you talk to somebody who never knows, who can't even imagine your pain because, say, you were never suicidal, but you're in a really dark place, so there's no resonance. So the kind of speech, or the kind of like words that you speak to that person is gonna be totally wrong, because you're not feeling that. But I think Ruben, luckily at the time, I'm sorry you went through that bad thing yourself, but you were going through that, so you felt the resonance, the pain.
Yeah.
That's why you could say the right kind of words, because you were like putting yourself in that person's shoe. You can feel it, the pain. It's not like meaningless words anymore. So that's why I think.
No, but that's right. I'm not saying anything against that. I'm saying that's like one of the issues is that they have a hard time making that kind of connection. But anyway, let's take a brief break and we'll come back to this, and then we'll also get back on the topic of comics with Rubin as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
You love comic books. You collect comic books. But even if you own a rare, expensive issue, it's still a copy. How would you like to own a piece of comic book history? The actual art pages the comics were made from? Oh no, you say. That's too expensive. Regular people can't afford that stuff. Can they? Nick Ferrucci says yes. Join the founder of Dynamite Entertainment for the original art experience on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. Incredible art at almost unbelievable prices. Does he have some high-dollar pieces for the high rollers? Sure, but Nick always makes sure to find amazing pieces priced for the fledgling collector. You can collect original comic art. The original art experience. Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Part of the experience. Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? It's Friday Night Live! With Nancy McCann. And Ricky. And sometimes Carlos. And featuring boxes and boxes of rare comics. Unique collectibles. Lots of smiles and conversations with new friends. Friday Night Live with Comics Unlimited. Friday night from 9 to 11 on The Experience.
According to a statistic that I just made up, people spend 4 hours a day changing the television channel. People who watch The Experience don't do that. Save yourself a ton of time by tuning into The Experience and enjoying our new original programming 7 days a week. And then tell your friends. Think about the money they could save on batteries in the remote alone just by tuning into The Experience. Find out more by scanning the QR code below.
In a world where you hit like and subscribe on our YouTube channel.
That'd be really great. Thanks.
Welcome back, everybody. We are on Sketch Up with Mog and Mel. We have Rubin Najera with us today, and we've been talking, getting to a very deep discussion here. But before we get back into that, let's check on the auction board what everybody has here. Let's take a look at Mog. She's got that up right there now.
Okay.
But,
Final
okay.
Fantasy
Got some.
Workshop.
Uh-huh.
Okay. These creatures, okay, they're called Paisa. And there's a mini Paisa, like this tiny little like kitties looking thing. They look like sparrows, but fluffy sparrows with legs. They jump and hop around. And this is the big boss Paisa. And what they do is, it says here, the mini Paisa collects nuts and other food stuff, which the boss then cracks using things found in nature like a big nutshell as a mortar and pestle. And then the Paisa will prepare the things. And then once done, the boss leaves and the minis gather around and chow down. And even the humans, they can sometimes eat it. And they're like, surprisingly, this is so good and nutritious. They're like, oh my God, this is so delicious. So this, you see, that's why there's a guy here collecting the nuts and giving it to him. And here, you're going to see a little bit here in the foreground, there's all the mini ones that are eating and he's already done. You know, so these are the bosses. So yeah.
Nice.
Okay, now starting bid on that, what Mog is looking for is 150, and I gotta tell you that is really super cheap for what she has going on there.
No one will bid, so I can actually sell for a price. This color is not.
The amount of work that's going to go in there is going to be a few days. Okay, so
I'm just basically getting ready for Denver. So guys, if you see us in Denver, please drop by.
No problem is that if somebody buys that, then you're not going to have nothing for Denver. So. All right, let's take a look at Connie. Where is she at?
Right here.
Okay, tell us what you got going on here.
Like I said before, I was drawing the Green Lantern cover. I was planning to have Hal Jordan treating as if he has a pet fish, basically, but it's an entity called Ion, like in the comic books. In the Green Lantern universe. So it's just like, imagine like he was feeding his pet fish for the class.
Okay. There you go. Okay, now Connie is looking for a bid of $50 on that. So if you want to bid on that, go ahead and place that into the comments. Just say Green Lantern 50 or whatever you want to bid on there. Okay. And now we turn to Fong Fong.
Coloring right now.
She has her mask on. Because she's working with these toxic markers now.
Oh, really?
No, I'm kidding.
They're just alcoholic.
You put mask on for coping markers?
Yeah, it's smelly. Don't like it.
What?
Yeah, they
That's
do.
Hardcore. I'm probably gonna die early then. I don't care about my health.
Water is kind of like a alcohol there smell.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking for a bit of 150 on that. Excuse me as I lose my voice. Yeah, I hate strong smells too, especially when I'm walking around the con.
Oh, you know what I don't like is human smell. Like
That's what I was referring to.
Like you don't like BO?
Yeah, that too. But you know what I don't like is, this might sound weird because I'm a girl, is makeup smell. Some ladies have such a strong makeup, it kills me.
Maybe you're referring to their perfume and stuff.
No, it's like a weird talcum type of powder thing. It's just talking about it makes me want to gag. But yeah, you guys don't have that? Like when women pass you, you're like, whoa.
I think most women in cons don't really like wearing makeup unless they're cosplayers, and that's it.
Yeah, because
that's what I've noticed about a lot of nerd women. Usually, they just they don't really the only time they do care about makeup is when they in their cosplay mode. But majority of the time, nerds don't really care that much.
So Steve Vendetta wrote, "Save those for Toxic Avenger pieces, Fong Fong." Toxic Avenger is actually a character. Yeah. And then Stevie B writes, "How do dogs deal with it 24/7?"
I feel sorry for them. I really feel sorry for them. You know what I feel more sorry for them? It's not even the smell. It's the noise we make. Even like the electric circuit, even just the chord, there's a constant like if you enhance every noise to the 40 time, everything makes a noise. It's insane. So I feel sorry for them. Like,
Okay, so Stephen then also writes, can you stand the odor of hair salons, Mog?
actually, whenever they do like a perm, like they do strong perm, but I think now the chemical they don't use that kind, so I'm okay. That's okay actually. Yeah, it's just the makeup smell mix. I guess it's the makeup smell mixed with BO that just kills me. So, oh my god. Yeah, I guess some
I
ladies really
mean,
sweat a lot. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I think
I
I'm
do
being
have
really
a
harsh.
really bad like BO story that I did at one con before, and this is with Dallas at San Diego Comic Fest.
Yeah.
And it was another fellow vendor who doesn't give a hint about his really strong BO presence. Like, like being like 2 or 3 feet away from him and you walking by
Oh my
our
god.
table, you could smell him right away. I was like, oh god.
No, no.
Like that was like died like slowly in the inside because like
Yeah.
it's just this one big guy who didn't know about BO and it was so bad.
JD writes, drag queens in the sun.
What's that? Oh, is it a movie?
Sounds like a band.
Oh.
It could be a band. I'm thinking of more of like gorillas in the mist.
Oh god. Yeah.
But and then Lieutenant writes, Fung Fung, is that going to be a wraparound?
Oh, what that mean?
The
We're
one
gonna
that
do the
you said
back
you're
as well,
working on. Yeah.
front and back.
Yeah.
Huh?
You're
Where
gonna
you can
do.
make it one
Are you gonna
piece.
do back as well? The back side.
No, just the cover.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
If pay me more, I could do that.
There you go. So if you win that piece and you want it to go into a double spread, you can talk to Fung about that to get that in your favor.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
All
an
right.
empty spot back here.
Yeah.
All
So
right. So before the commercial break, we were in the hot topic of suicide.
Oh.
And I forgot where we left off, but
No, actually, I have a question about music.
we were talking actually how to deal with it, how you talk to a person with that. And there's all kinds of training. I've even gone through taking classes on how to talk to people that are like on the verge of being suicidal, not professionally, but in some of the line of work that I've done through my illustrious life. I do sometimes have to deal with people like that. And I remember getting a call from somebody. I was working in tech support for T-Mobile at that time. And this lady was very, very suicidal. And I spent 2 hours talking to her, trying to get her to call with the suicide hotline numbers that we had and all these other places that you can contact to. And I had to inform my bosses what was going on, and they just kept telling me, just keep talking to her. They wanted to make sure that she was okay while they try to figure out where she's at and how they can get help to her. They finally, it took a long while to say the least, but they finally got some help, and they were able to get some help to her anyway. But she managed somehow to call me back, which is hard to do, to call back and get the same person, but somehow she did. And then it must have been fate or anything, but she thanked me for the way I talked to her and how we were able to get like help to her. But it's just a matter of just like sitting there listening and being patient and letting them know that they're fine, they're going to be okay. Just that there's a lot of people here that love them and look for them and need them. And that's what we were trained to do. It's just, you just have to let them know like how important a person they are to the people around them. You get them to talk about who they like, who loves them, and so forth, so that way you can relate that information.
Yeah.
But yeah,
real life.
Yeah. Ruben, like you said that you love music, just pure love, right? It's
Yeah.
always like when if you want to relax or something, you just music is what is like your thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're like suddenly like producing music in a professional way now.
Yeah.
And I know despite what you said that you don't want to, like put pressure on yourself to make money because you just want to make it for the pure joy of it, the pure love of it. But it sounds like to me you're kind of going in that direction, like in a
Yeah.
professional direction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find yourself like stressing out either way because of it now? Because now it's kind of like a professional thing now.
I kind of told myself, yeah, it's funny. I kind of told myself with this one I won't, because it's at the end of the day, I feel like I win no matter what, because like even if like let's say you put the album out and it didn't do well, it doesn't matter. It was
Yeah.
just about making it happen and finishing it for me, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll still play it regardless because I created it, and I'll always get to look back and not just that, but the group of people that like I'm working on it with, it's
Yeah.
it's for me it's super cool, you know? It's like a dream kind of coming true, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So regardless, at the end of the day, like shoot, I'm winning
You're
with
okay.
it. Yeah, I'm good. Like there's no pressure on myself in that.
Okay.
There might even be more pressure if like it actually does good, to be honest with you. like if it takes off and next thing you know, like we're booking all these shows and stuff, like that's not like a bad problem at all. That'd be awesome. But
Yeah.
I guess that's when I have to like be like, okay, this is working, so now we got to go full force, you know. But I
Yeah.
have no pressure on myself right now. I'm just kind of like naturally letting it flow. And to be honest, I mean, I think that's what's making the music more real.
Yeah.
There's been some songs where we finish, like there'll be like a pause, and like it's like so meaningful, like the stuff that like recording or making, that sometimes like my engineer will like come in on the mic and be like, "Yo, you all right?" You know, because it's like getting really deep, you know, sometimes on some songs, right? 'Cause some of them are
Yeah.
like based on there's tidbits of stuff that's kind of based on real life, and so yeah, I just kind of like it's also like a release too, you know, like
Yeah.
you're
Right. Yeah.
like you're putting it out there, and obviously whoever listens to music, I'd like them to interpret it their own way, you know what I mean? Not necessarily hear like why I chose, you know, certain lyrics and things like that, but the sounds, they have a lot of feeling, and even when I went when me and Matt started working together, I sent him like probably like I had accumulated so many like songs that I was just making. I probably sent him like 60 or more.
Wow. Wow.
And like, we're narrowing them down to like 10, and then like another two that are like, so it's a
That's
filtering
like
process. Yeah,
that's like 5-6 albums right there.
exactly. So even after this is done, a couple songs were like, well, we know what to hit next. You know what I mean? So, and those are just like the ones that like thought were like good. There's a lot of stuff that's in the back burner. It's like, you know.
Mhm.
There's hundreds of those, right? But
So you're singing as well, right? As you're playing the guitar.
yeah, guitar and
Okay.
vocals, and then I'm gonna end up doing the stuff on the piano. I haven't even started yet, but there's like 2 or 3 songs that I might add that in.
Yeah.
And then the drums, we have a session drummer, cello. Lori Goldston's gonna do the cello, and then there's like a song we might have like some percussion stuff and like a trumpet come in on it. You know what I mean? Like some cool sounds. So there's
Nice.
album. Yeah, it's very like diverse and stuff. And then Matt, my engineer, he's playing bass on it. You know what I mean? So, and he's a really good bass player. I love hearing him. After we're done the recording, and I'm just hearing him like do his bass, play the bass. It's so sick. It's so awesome. Like I get like a smile on my face just like hearing him do it live. He's like so good.
So, do you ever go skateboarding with your guitar and play while you're skateboarding?
No, I haven't. No. Usually when I'm skating, I mean, when I was like doing it professionally, I was always listening to music, had headphones and stuff. And it's kind of funny because now when like I'm not doing it professionally, I'm not really like pushing myself to like, you know, break myself off or do anything super crazy. I'm just kind of like, I'm just having fun with it, you know what I mean, or exercising for the most part. So I'm not playing any music or anything like that. I have a younger brother who's like an active pro skater right now, though. He's really, really good, and I started him skating when he was like 4 years old, and he's amazing. he's so much more better than I ever was. Honestly, he's incredible. Yeah,
Wow.
I think a lot of it.
How much younger?
He's 10 years basically. Yeah.
Oh.
So the cool thing with him was like I used to take him with me skating everywhere, and so like if you put a little 4-year-old and you have him skate with other little 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, he's gonna skate like a 4-year-old. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But like,
Yeah.
when he's 4 and he's skating with me and the few buddies that I had that skated back then,
Yeah.
and we're all 10 years older than him, 12 years older than him, and he just thinks like that's what I have to do.
Yeah.
And so his level of progression was like insane. You know? And like I'm just showing him the basic tricks and he's really, really good. Yeah, his name's Diego Najera, if anyone wants to look him up. But he's like on Adidas and like he had his own shoe on Adidas for a while too, which is pretty darn cool.
Wow.
But yeah, he's an active pro skater right now, and obviously the best of his career is coming up still because you know, he's in his late 20s. But honestly, I'd say the best skating I ever did was like early 30s, so he's not even there yet. You know, he's gonna do some amazing stuff. And his sponsors fly him around everywhere. I think like he was just in. I mean, I think he's in Europe right now or something like that because Adidas flew him out there. So like, he's doing it. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of him.
Nice.
Yeah.
You know, you remind me of this guy. I saw this YouTube today. Of all things, this guy wanted to make a guitar string out of spider webs.
Oh, whoa!
And he went to Madagascar, Sweden, because Madagascar has the only spider that creates a web that's strong enough that it can even catch birds in it. It's that strong, right?
Yeah.
So he went there and he caught these spiders, and it took him 8 days to make about 6 kilometers, which is about roughly 3 miles. Worth of thread out of them.
Insane.
He didn't kill them, so
yeah.
Apparently you can kind of like, milk the thread out of them for a limited time, and then he releases them, and then catches another one, and then do it again and again until it's 6 kilometers worth of thing. And he was finally he got it done, and he was showing around the villagers. And I think Madagascar, Mel actually did a research. It's kind of like an island.
It's an island.
Yeah,
it's a big island actually. Yeah.
So when he first strung it up in a big guitar, it snapped. So he was so depressed because it's ruined, right? The project.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can't do it. But then he thought about after half a day of just being depressed. He's like, why don't I take a little like ukulele type of small guitar? I've enough that string. So why don't I try to tie it up with the thing? And then he did it. He tuned it till E, and then that was it. And then he showed it around, and the islanders, they were picking it up, and they were just, may I play? And then they were just playing. But I realized the people who play the guitar, they were singing with it.
Yeah.
So I thought, is it like a natural thing? If you play guitar, you just naturally want to sing. Is that what it is?
Maybe. I mean, it's one of those like. I mean, they say it's like the more universal instrument, even more universal than pianos, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of those too. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there's something to it where like I even when I picked one up as a kid, like I was humming rhythms, you know what I mean? Naturally, like I just like it. Sometimes like it feels like the music is channeling, like it's just coming out of you, like it's meant to be. It's like I don't know. I heard this. I heard this story about I forget where it was on a podcast or something about like Neil Young or something, and like some board meeting. It was like a really important meeting. But it was something along those lines. And like he left the meeting while they were talking to him because he needed to because he had a melody for the guitar pop up, and he needed to like record it so he wouldn't forget it.
Yeah.
So he like left. And everyone was like, what the heck? This guy just like left, and like he went to go record the melody because he didn't want to lose it. Because sometimes like that little magic is there, and you want to like capture it,
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting concept, but I think you might be able to apply it to a lot of things because sometimes you have a great idea, like, oh, I should draw this or I should write this or whatever. Like, it's funny because you have a great idea, but then like sometimes that magic pixie dust does disappear, And like later on, you're like, I was gonna write it down. darn it, what the heck was that? I know I had a good idea, and like I can't even remember it anymore, you know? And it's like you didn't bottle up the magic when you had the chance. But yeah, sometimes like when you pick up instruments, you feel like you want to, I don't know, like you got a little thing going, you know, a rhythm, a song, you know, you start humming stuff. So
Yeah.
That's kind of like in everything, like because our memory kind of runs short after a while, and we forget the whole thing that might be there. So that's why they always tell us like to write it down as quick as you can, or do something so that way you'll remember it and stuff. Because even as a programmer, I would come up with solutions in my sleep.
Yeah.
Right? And so I would have a notepad and a pen right by my bed, and I would write it down so that way when I get up in the morning and look at it, oh, okay, yeah, got it. Okay, now. And you don't have to remember too hard on like what you had to do.
Yeah, and you know what, Mel? Like they say that if you physically write it down, like by hand, it does something for your memory to remember it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because physically,
there's a physical. You have the visual of it, and you have the mental of it, and so it kind of helps to solidify the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the neuroscience. There's a part of the brain where it's interesting. On the left side here, kind of behind the ear, is where you remember physical facts.
Yeah.
Like the dates, birthday, all the important physical facts, right?
Yeah.
And then there's another part on the right side here, which is considered, they call it the intuitive memory. So you kind of get the concept or the gist of it or the narrative of it. And then that is only triggered if you are actually writing or doing something. Yeah. It's more of a holistic memory, which is bizarre, as bizarre as it sounds like. So I think musicians or artists in general who uses their hand crafts, the more they, get into the rhythm, they can trigger that holistic memory, and then they can recall something beautiful or something that's really useful for those people. But if you don't generally do that as your job, it's okay. You have this left side of the brain where it just remembers all the roads, the names, and everything, the dates. So, yeah.
All right. So we've been talking to Rubin Najera, and when we come back after this commercial, we'll do a quick round, see what everybody has, and see. We have no bids yet. So we'll take a look at where everything stands at that point, and then we'll also show you what we are putting up for the giveaways tonight. So if you haven't done so yet, put in #EXP live, and that will get you in there. Okay, so we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Download our app on Google Play and the App Store. It's so simple, even my mommy can use it.
So, the show is called The Geek Chat. And really, there's just a couple of geeks.
I'm Rich.
I'm Dez.
And we are your hosts for this weekly guide into comic bookery and all the geeky stuff that goes with it.
And that pretty much says it all. They talk about the latest movies and shows.
Okay, I'll be completely honest with you. Overall, D+ movie.
So the end. Did you know who that is?
That's She-Ra, yeah.
Yes.
The new #1 comics of the week.
We rep Samuel Jackson, and we rep Mace Windu.
I passed on this. I was like...
No regrets.
No regrets. I really wanted to like this book. I really did. Like, I really did.
And just chat with each other. And with you.
Oh, Daniel says, I dozed off with the first one. I have zero interest in the Joker Harley ship, not Harley herself. Enjoy, not for me. Yeah, this movie's gonna be rough for me to sit through, I'll be honest.
The Geek Chat, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Just a couple of honest geeks.
Let's be honest. Come on.
And that is why people watch us, because we're honest.
Giving their honest opinions.
And the thing you always have to remember about the internet is everyone has an opinion, and they all suck.
Part of the experience.
Something is speaking to you.
Buy more comics.
Just at the edge of your perception.
Buy more comics.
Your senses fill with visions of vortices.
360 comics.
Slowly drawing you to one thundering epiphany.
360 comics! 360 comics! 360 comics!
The universe is telling you to shop with 360 Comics. Joe's got amazing stock from high dollar to $5 books from Silver Age to modern, CGC, variant covers, and more. 360 Comics every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, part of the experience.
Welcome back to SketchUp with Mog and Mel. And just as a short circuit put in there, if you're at Manhattan Beach, California, this coming Wednesday, check out Mog and Fangs doing a signing at the comic book, from 4 to, actually it should be from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Right, so you'll be able to get some of the books that they worked on there. Okay. And thank you, Lieutenant, for putting that in. If you haven't yet, put in #EXP Live to get you qualified for the giveaways that we're going to be doing very, very shortly. And we're going to show that in a brief moment. But before we do that, let's take a round and take a look at what everybody has, what they've been drawing. Let's starting with Fang here. Fun. Oh, she's got a lot of color in there now. Very pretty. She's telling you, be quiet. Big boys don't cry. All right, she's looking for a bit of 150 on that. 150, if you want to put that into the comments, claim that, and that could be yours. Okay, and let's take a look at Connie's Green Lantern action here. She's working on a green cover. Whoa, can you bring that up closer so we can get a really good look at it? There we go. Yeah, there you go. She also has a fish in the tank.
Fascinating.
And you can see the fish is getting fed. All right, and she's looking for a bid of $50 on that, just an easy 50. So if you want to bid on that, go ahead and put that into the comments. You can just say Green Lantern 50 on there. And now let's take a look at Mog, who decided to be different today.
Yeah.
Put in this piece here. What size is that? 11 by 17?
It's about 7 by 10.
7 by 10?
Will take, you know.
Okay, so that's the size of a comic backing board.
Yeah, it's a comic backing board size. Okay. Literally.
All right.
Yeah.
And she's looking for.
I just like doing backgrounds. I don't really show that in the side in the sketch, but I actually do like doing backgrounds.
And you are good. Steve is letting my secret out. He said, "Psst." He's using the Filipino call there. Psst. Short circuit is actually Mel. Oh, gee, thanks. My cover is now blown. Thanks, Steve.
I think it was Steve who asked the question. Is that a goldfish? No, it's gonna be a fantasy like airship. So
an airship in a goldfish tank.
But, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a small world.
It's okay. So this is like a projection, a 3D projection that in this workshop they create.
All right. It's kind of like some ancient alien technology.
What's the word? Holographic.
Holographic projection.
Yeah, like that, but with magic, you know.
Okay. Or a laser.
I didn't make it up, by the way. It's in the Final Fantasy. So.
A Morglade
Do you play any Final
mover.
Fantasy games?
You know,
It is
never.
a small world.
But my sister is dying for me to play Final Fantasy 14. So, because she loves that, and she said she'll guide me. I just have to download the thing and just go for it.
Yeah.
It's an MMO. It's really huge.
I don't allow games being played in the house, or else no work will get done.
I think it's a break.
But that's not going to stop Mog. Anyway, like we do have some giveaways, and it's actually Fung has 3 prints that we'll be giving away from her prize collection. Okay, So we'll take a look at the first one that she's doing here, and it's the
Harley.
ever popular Harley. What size is that?
12 by 18.
Okay, 12 by 18. Okay, so we will be drawing for that later. And the next one?
First one. This one's smaller, 11 by 17.
Okay.
Okay, it's Chun Li.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, so remember, you want to put in for these
Third one, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, other Wednesday.
He's, I think she's going to be coming back on a Wednesday too. All right. So if you want to, we'll be giving those away in a very short while, very, very short while, actually. So you want to go ahead and put that in there, and you'll be able to get those nice prints from Fun. Lieutenant, what are you bidding on? Mel's for 150. What do I have? I'll tell you what I have. I have my cup of coffee.
Wow. The more
Yeah, one of a kind Mel's DNA drink that you can magically clone him in the future.
Yeah, well, I got to thank Connie because every time she's at a con that we're at, she's been providing me with a can of coffee to help me keep awake. If she didn't do that, you'd find me under the table asleep. So thank you for that. He wants my cool haircut.
Too.
Oh, what's that?
We'll be seeing you at Denver too.
Yeah, that's right. That's it's in less than 2 weeks. We're actually going to be taking a road trip. Fung is going to be with us. Connie and her husband Dallas, and then Don Wynn will also be with us. But we've opted to rent a van this time, drive up to Denver with all our stuff, so that way we don't have to deal with the weight restrictions that are placed on us when we travel by plane. It's going to be a 17-hour drive. I hope we can survive each other.
In the road. You're going on.
I'm coming back from Philadelphia and on that day on Monday to head to your place. I'm flying out again for another show in Oaks, Pennsylvania called Too Many Games. So if anybody's in the East Coast, it's maybe I guess our second chance to meet us in the East Coast because traveling first time in the East Coast this year with Heroes Con was oh god, the time zones they hurt you they punch you really hard.
Mel,
yeah,
I was gonna say to ex-lieutenant, you can have for 150, you can have Mel for 2 hours. It's okay. But he was actually bidding on mine. I was hoping no one would bid on it. Thank you so much. But wow, thank you.
Are we going to be at NYCC?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So he's actually bidding on your piece.
Yeah. I was gonna say, hey,
now we got
$2
nothing to show for Denver.
Yeah, I know. Good damn it. But okay. But thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And we are $6. We did put in an application for New York City, and we're hoping that we will get that. And from what I understand, they'll be announcing that fairly soon. So hopefully we'll know.
That's one show that I want to go to someday. I haven't been to the New York Comic Con yet.
Same with us. We've never been there. If we get in, it'll be our first time too.
That's gonna be awesome.
But they were asking me to look at more Globe, whatever, and it looks really similar to this. It's interesting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I must have missed that. Oh, okay. There it is. Stephen Ned writes, Mog, do you an image search for more Globe Mover? Oh, okay.
Mover?
Mover.
Yeah. It looks freaking fantastic. It looks like Final Fantasy type of fantasy ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll take a look at it. All right. So we got 8:45 here. Hey, Rubin, give us the how can people contact you? Where can they find your stuff? and so forth
Yeah,
like that.
it's just my name, really easy. I was fortunate enough early on when social media kind of popped off that I got my actual name, so Rubin Najera on the social medias. My website's just rubinajera.com. And then my next release will be July 17th, and that'll be available worldwide so at your local comic shop can carry it. It's called Galaguera. And that's a really special book to me because that's my own. Usually I get hired to write, titles or scripts for different publishers, but this one's my IP, and I got a publisher that picked it up. So
fantastic. And who's your artist on that book?
So the interior artist is El Cartoon, who's from Tijuana, and then the cover artist is Tahani Farr, who's from Mexico City, and just a really talented group of people. The colors were done by Pixel Ronin. So we just have a great team on this book. Issue 2 is already almost ready as well, so we can have it in time to turn in. But Diamond Comic Distributors is the one where your store can get it through as the distributor. So that's why it's available worldwide. And Blood Comics is the publisher.
Okay. Right. So you're going with the direct market on this one, and not through Kickstarter.
Yeah, this is honestly even the Archie comics that I wrote. I honestly think this book right here will have more widespread than the Archie one because this was the spotlight book in the previews catalog. This is one of the
Oh, very nice, very nice.
It has a lot going behind it, and
that's
on top of that, I've even had some optioned offers. So this isn't just going to be like a book that comes out and then work on the next thing. I'm in this for the long haul. We're going to make action figures of this. We're going to do. We want to shoot a television pilot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Or a movie eventually. We want to do a lot with this property, and it's a 3-piece team, Mexican superhero team, which I haven't seen done before like that. And the 3 covers that you saw there, the one with the white text, that's the regular cover A. And then the virgin cover is a 1:7 ratio. That's the one with no text on it, which is the middle one. So for every 7 copies that a store orders, they get 1 of those. And then the farthest left one on the image there is the 1:10, which the title is going to be like a gold spot foil, really nice. And it's going to be a card stock on that one. So it's going to be really quality. And that's a 1:10. So technically that's the rarest version of the book. But it's all the same book on the interior, These are just the ratio variants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right. So let's do the giveaways. We got about 6 minutes left, and so if we can go ahead and roll for the first one, which will be for the Harley. And our lucky winner for tonight's first giveaway is going to be, drum roll. Dun, dun, dun. Lieutenant wins that one. Nice job.
Congrats.
Right, and the next one that we'll be giving away is Chun-Li. And you saw that she's doing her famous high kick there. And we're going to be rolling for that next.
Oh, Mel, you want something? Short Circuit finally won.
I wanted.
Short Circuit for the first time ever won something. We've done this.
Wednesday is up next for this giveaway. Ilya wins that
wow,
one.
Congrats. Okay. Yay, Ilya.
Okay, thank you guys for that. And next week, hopefully you'll join us next week, but we will have Mike Tenner with us, and we'll be talking about the comics that he produces and publishes. We'll also have Jin Leonard, John Stinsman, and Fung Fung will also be with us as well. So hopefully you'll join us then. Okay.
Well.
Yeah.
JD's asking, should I roll again? Because you
For
want
what?
something?
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah. It's only fair.
Yeah, I mean, I can always get a free one from Fung anyway. And this is for the Chun-Li.
Yes,
Mike Asbill wins that.
Mike Asbill, you truly deserve it. Everybody here that won tonight truly deserve it. Thank you so much, as always.
There you go. All right. And let's take a look at what we have on the board. And we currently have a bid on, we're looking for a bid of 150 for this on for Fung Fung. So if you want to bid on that, 150 or better, you've got a few minutes left on the board there. If anybody wants that, just put in Wonder Woman 150.
So Rubin, as driven as you are, and you do multiple projects always all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Do you even get to sleep at all?
Yeah, it's funny. You said I actually. This is pretty random. I can't remember the last time I took like a nap because I'm like working all the time. And today I had to kind of for an hour and a half take like a crash out for a little because I got back in from Arizona last night at like 4 a.m. and then I had to wake up for an appointment at the radiology center here at like 9. So I didn't get much sleep. And then I was just tired. And then I actually had to I had to get a little hour and a half nap in. And then I woke up and then pretty much 15-20 minutes after I woke up, I signed on right here. So I was that exhausted. I just had my alarm off and I got up.
Wow.
So yeah, ironically, I actually just try to get some rest of all times. I never do that. Yeah.
Are you okay? Radiology, that's cancer.
Yeah, I'm going through some screens and stuff like that for some stuff that was pretty scary, to be honest. But it's not there's too many discrepancies in the tests that they did, and the things didn't match up. So originally they were we found something and we should take an MRI because it's a cautionary thing. And then they did the MRI and it didn't pop up on the MRI. And then they're like, okay, well, this is not matching up. So now we need to send you to someone at UCSD and see what the deal is. So I'm still kind of in limbo of not knowing what. So I could probably dwell on that and that could be, scary in itself. But I'm just trying to focus on work and then not think it's anything until someone says it's something, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a crappy place to be too, right? If I dwell in it, but
yeah, you don't want it because you don't want it to affect you, because you don't have all the facts yet, and you might just be worrying for nothing. All right, let's take a look at Connie. Somebody's requesting take a look at that.
Thank you, JD. I stand corrected. It's not cancer. It says it's X-ray. Oncology.
Yeah,
I learned something. JD, I always learn something from you. You are an amazing guy.
And there is the fish tank there being fed by a Green Lantern. Okay, and we're looking for a bit of 50 on that. Just
So
$50, and you can take that home.
Is the shark getting fake food from Green Lantern power?
Yes.
That's cool. That is cool.
It's very cool. Okay.
So cruel.
And if it doesn't sell tonight, that's probably going to sell at Denver.
Yeah.
So, and it'll probably go for more, like things usually do. And Mog's piece has a bid of 150 from the lieutenant already. So we are looking for the next bid on that. Dude, you are getting something really, really worthwhile here. 150 is really super, super cheap.
Really appreciate it.
She's going to be spending a few days on that before it is done. A few days minimum. Okay, so that is our show for tonight. I want to thank you, everybody, for coming on board and checking us out. And stay tuned with us next week when we have Mike Tenner on the show. Okay.
Thank you for having me on too. Thank you. I appreciate
Rubin, you're an amazing guy. I definitely want to have you back. You're very well accomplished, and we don't get to hear of somebody of your caliber like that. So yeah, definitely want to have you again. Probably maybe sometime next year, because as this show, even though our numbers may not show it, but this show is actually booked with guests although pretty much for the whole year already. And it's amazing to me that I don't have to go out there and find people.
Next time, play us music.
That would be a thing. Yeah.
Oh, by then, right? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
By then, everything should be. A year from now, everything should be ready. It should be done. So
there you go. Okay.
Even teaser for your one. that
Yeah.
we're going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.